and welcome everybody to the SMunger Cup Series Race 5 of 8 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I'm your host Steve, and today it is the Throwback Throwdown at North Wilkesboro. It's the Throwback race, and it is a sold crowd here today in Wilkes County, North Carolina. First race here in a long time. We have 13 drivers who are lined up on the grid looking to put on a fantastic race for this crowd. A lot of throwbacks here this weekend. And a couple stories to get into, starting with Lazard, who's coming into this race with 2 back-to-back wins and starting today 4th, climbing up the points. Does he have a shot at a title this season? Drake Goslin with his first pole of the year and coming off of his best finish last week of 2nd. Does he have a shot of a win today? And we have Ricky Bobby, Chad Jones rounding out the field today. Fans picked the best throwback of the weekend. Pace car is pulling off of pit lane. Field's following suit. They're going to run 2 pace laps here today, and they're going to do that for every caution if there are cautions. It's a half-mile track. It's just to allow them to get up and form into the lineups a little easier, a little extra time in order to do that. But they are coming down the back straightaway and into turn number 3, getting ready to file up for the start of this race. And we're going to go ahead and get into the starting lineup here in just a moment. Starting on the front row today, we have Drake Goslin on the inside and Tyler Rogers to the outside of row 1. Chase Newman on the inside, Lazard to the outside of row number 2. Cooper Glick on the inside, Michael McCammett to the outside of row number 3. Cackert on the inside, William Schmidt to the outside of row number 4. Stephen Munger on the inside and Dice Guy on the outside of row number 5. Jaden Winkelson on the inside, Tanner Mann on the outside of row number 6. And Chad Jones rounding out the field in row number 7 in the inside lane. Dave Wilson, Ryan Delago, and Jax Riley are the 3 cars who have failed to qualify, and the pace cars pulling off onto pit road. Drake Goslin is leading them to the green flag coming out of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air for the Throwback Throwdown here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Clean start so far as Tyler Rogers taking the lead from Drake Goslin coming out of turn number 2 on lap number 1 as they come down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. Tyler Rogers still out front, but they are still too wide as you see Tanner Mann and Dice Guy beating and banging back there around for the 10th position. Tyler Rogers is going to end up leading this first lap as they're back down into turn number 1 and 2 now. The SKS Motorsport cars, the 98-79, Lazard and Schmidt get together. Schmidt's going to get loose and Dice Guy's going to slam right into him. Schmidt's going to go into the wall. Schmidt has heavy damage. That car keeps bouncing off the wall going down the back straightaway, but we're still green. There is a lot of beating and banging going on in this field early to begin with as they are 3 wide for the 2nd position going down into turn number 1. McCammett is going to take the 2nd position from both Newman and Goslin. Goslin fighting back on the inside. Another quick flyby as they come back into turn number 3. It's Rogers, McCammett, Goslin still beating on Newman for 3rd, Newman 4th, Glick 5th, Munger up to 6th, Cackert hanging on to 7th. It's a battle up there for the 5th position for Munger and Glick at the moment. They've been trading that spot back and forth. But McCammett now coming underneath of Rogers. He's got to run on the back straightaway for the lead. McCammett and Rogers beating and banging into each other. Off the wall. McCammett to the lead as Rogers now into 2nd. Munger all the way up to 3rd. Goslin still hanging on to the 4th position. And Newman's made his way to 5th. Holding on from Glick and Winkelson. As Dice Guy is now bringing his battered Chevrolet to the garage. Schmidt brought his to the garage a couple laps ago. So that's 2 cars and 5 laps already out of this race. McCammett, Rogers, Munger, Goslin, Winkelson currently your top 5 as they go into turn 3 and out of turn number 4. It's been a wild start of the race. Too much to cover, really. Munger on the back bumper of Rogers for the 2nd position. McCammett's got a little bit of a gap, but as you see, Goslin's still doing everything he can to hold on to a top 5 spot from Winkelson. Winkelson looking for that 4th position, but there he comes. Goslin's got that corner exit speed, but he doesn't seem to have much momentum when it comes to holding it in the corner. Very strong start of the race for McCammett. As you can see, Munger passing Rogers for the 2nd position. Rogers to 3rd. Winkelson passing Goslin for 4th, so Goslin to 5th, and Cooper Glick still hanging on to a 6th position. As you can see, another quick flyby as they go through turns 1 and 2. A lot of beating and banging going back and forth. Cackert's missing his right front fender, which is completely gone. And Lazard is going really slow through turns 1 and 2. There's a lot of right side damage to that number 98. I'm not sure if it's associated to the lap 2 incident between him and Schmidt, but that car is off the pace. As you can see, Munger with a run to the outside of McCammett going into turn number 2, or coming out of turn number 2, excuse me, but McCammett comes up and doors him just a little bit, but he holds on to the lead down the back straightaway and into 3. Munger with another run back to the bumper. Rogers hanging on over Winkelson for 3rd. Goslin in 5th. And Lazard has brought that battered Toyota to the garage, joining his teammate William Schmidt out of the race on lap number 8 as the leader's coming into lap number 9. McCammett coming out of turn number 2. Munger's still hot on his tail. Winkelson's made his way to 3rd. Rogers to 4th. Goslin into the wall big time out of turn number 2. He was running 5th. It looks like running as hard as that car had been running all race. He wasn't going to be able to keep doing that forever, and the car is now spinning going through turn number 3. So Goslin has pounded the wall in 2 and spun into 3, but we're still green. The car is still going, but that car, a lot of damage. They're probably going to take it straight to the garage from what I'm hearing. But it's McCammett, Munger, Winkelson, Rogers, Newman, your top 5 now. Glick still hanging on to a 6th position. Solid run for that 05 today, and Cackert still in 7th. But here comes Goslin to the garage. Now, disappointing run for that crew. They had a good starting spot. As you can see, Munger back to the bumper of the 33 as they come out of turn number 2. Running down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. McCammett can't get away from him, but Munger can't seem to get around him. And Winkelson's sitting there in 3rd place. He's just waiting for one or the other to mess up so he can pounce on a top 2 spot here. Newman around Rogers for 4th. And here comes Munger. He sends it into turn number 1. He's in the lead. He needs to get that car to turn, and into the wall it goes coming out of turn number 2. Big time contact to the wall for the 09 car. He could not make that pass stick, and he is off the pace going through turn number 3. Very, very slow. A lot of damage to the Coors Light Ford Mustang coming out of turn number 4. As McCammett, the leader, Winkelson now to 2nd, and Newman up to 3rd. Munger's going to take that car straight to the garage. Rogers into the back of him. Munger spiked the brakes. Munger spiked the brakes trying to get that car to the garage. They're going to throw the caution for a car stopped on the track, and he's now driving backwards, so that's definitely going to get him out of today's race for sure. No reason to drive backwards on the track. They're now calling for him to go to the garage. Let's take a look at a couple of replays before we go take a break before the restart here. So this is the lap 2 incident with Lazard and Schmidt. I don't know if that was just they got stuck together there coming out of the corner, or if they were just fighting hard for a spot and just weren't going to give in. 2 laps into the race is way too early to be running like that. But Schmidt's car was destroyed. You can see the right front wheel all bent out immediately after the contact there out of the wall. And whatever damage that guy had from that incident finally made the right front give out going through 3 and 4. That car went straight into the wall coming out of 4. And you can see William Schmidt's car is going to dogleg all over the front straightaway as he brings it to the garage. That right front wheel not even attached to the steering system in the front. A couple laps later, coming out of turn number 4, you're going to see Lazard goes up wide and smacks the wall pretty good there. You can see the wheels all bowed out on him as well. That's what ultimately sent him to the garage and out of the race. That was, I believe, on lap number 7. And Drake Goslin, when he pounded the wall, he had already been into the wall in turn number 1. And you can also see that that's a right front issue as well. The right front suspension was done on that car after that contact. The wheel was all bowed out before he got into turn number 3. And the incident that brought out the caution, questionably if it's on purpose or not, you can see the 09 slows up a lot in front of the 15 and gets spun out onto the apron. With a car stopped on the track, on a smaller track like this, they're definitely going to throw the caution. And it certainly doesn't help when you got cars driving backwards on the speedway. I'm sure they're going to talk to him about that. Anyways, we're going to cut to a quick break here in just a moment. We're going to be right back with the restart. Welcome back, everybody. A wild, wild start of this race. brought us to our first caution of the race. We're currently on lap 14, crossing into lap 15. This will be the last pace lap, and then the cars will be going green this time by. But we're going to go ahead and go into the restart order for the lap 16 restart. It is Michael McCammett on the inside of Jaden Winkleson for row 1. It is Chase Newman on the inside of Cackert for row number 2. Cooper Glick on the inside of Tyler Rogers for row number 3. And Chad Jones and Tanner Mann round out the field in row number 4. There are currently only 8 cars on track. 5 are out as a result of either suspension issues or damage as a result from hitting the wall on different laps, different incidents. Michael McCammett bringing him back for the restart after a strong first start of the race. Green flag is back in the air. Michael McCammett, Jaden Winkleson leading them back for the restart. Going down to turn number 1, Chase Newman. He's going to dive it underneath. He's going to take that second position away from Winkleson. Coming out of turn number 2, he's going to get underneath McCammett. He doors McCammett, and into the lead goes Chase Newman down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. McCammett all over the bumper. They are currently 3 wide. Winkleson into the wall. Cackert into the wall. Newman's going to lead him off turn number 4. 4 laps to go, and it is already getting crazy once again. As Cackert gets into Winkleson sideways through turn 1. McCammett knocks him sideways again. I don't know how the 11's still driving. That should have spun out twice. As they're still beating and banging for the lead going into turn number 3. They're 3 wide again. There goes Cackert. Now it is just a battle between Newman and McCammett. Winkleson back to 3rd. Cackert hot on Winkelson's heels. And Rogers is right there in 5th, looking to pull off some kind of comeback if he can. Less than 3 to go. Newman, McCammett, Cackert, your top 3 coming out of turn number 2. Rogers up there with Winkleson battling for 4th. And it's Glick, Jones, Mann in the back, hoping that the top 5 just wreck out at this point, because it looks like that they might. McCammett squeezes to the outside with a run with 2 to go, taking the lead back from Chase Newman. Cackert hot on their heels as McCammett hard into the turn 1 wall. They're door to door. Cackert to the bumper of the 14. The 14 squeezes. McCammett back into the wall. They're beating and banging into 3. McCammett with the left rear tire down. He's going to go around off the nose of the 11. They're stacking them up. They save it again. White flag comes out. It is Chase Newman and Cackert in turn number 1. They're wadding him up down the front straightaway now. But never mind that. It's a close battle for the lead coming out of turn number 2 between Chase Newman and Cackert, who's all over the bumper. He's going to shove him into 3. Chase Newman goes high. Cackert goes low. Newman's going to try to spin him. They both save it. It's a drag race to the line. Cackert's going to win the Throwback Throwdown at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Unbelievable finish. Cackert from 7th on the yellow all the way to the win. That car should have wrecked 3 or 4 times coming back to the checkered flag. Unbelievable finish for that 75. And a heartbreaker for the 14. Here's a replay of what happened down the front straightaway. You can see him wadding them up coming out of turn 4. They were good until about this point. Now Rogers is spinning. And Glick, and man, big contact for the 15 and the 53. Just past the start and finish line. Huge contact for them, but you're going to see Rogers is going to also drive away. But coming out of turn number 4, you're going to see, here comes the 14 and the 75 again. A wild drag race back to the start and finish line, and Cackert drove the wheels off of that car for that win here today. Chad Jones, 4th place, and McCammett holds on for 5th. And I don't know what that's all about. I think Glick just tried shoving the 15 into the wall. And 15 just wasn't having it after that last lap. 6th place will go to Rogers. Glick will finish 7th. And man, couldn't even bring it back around. He just parked it at the top at turn 3 and called it a day right there. A wild last lap. We're going to ride on board with Chad Jones. This is coming back to the white flag. That wild, wild finish. He's going to get underneath Glick here. This is for the 6th position now. And they're wadding him up coming out of turn number 4. McCammett keeps it straight. The 11 drives away, and Jones threads the needle to snag himself a top 5 finish. A strong run for Ricky Bobby. Here comes Cackert coming to burn him down. He's earned this one. This was a wild win for him and his crew. They've earned that one for sure. Cackert, Newman, Winkleson, Jones, McCammett, your top 5. Glick and Rogers the last 2 on the lead lap. Mann finishes 1 down, Munger 8 down, and Goslin 11 down is your top 10. Lazard 13 down, Guy 17 down, and Schmidt 18 down will round out the field. As you can see, Kacker is going to smoke those tires until they're done. He's already hit the wall a couple of times. He's going to do it again right there. Might as well. And again on the inside. He ain't done yet. We're going to ride on board with Cooper Glick real quick as they bring Kackert's car to the victory lane at the start and finish line now. Glick goes up high. We're going to ride on board with him. There goes Jones on the inside. We're wadding him up, and I don't know if he'd already... Oh, he hit the wall there coming out of the corner too, so he'd already had an issue. And the car goes airborne and straight back into the wall. A lot of damage to the Cooper Glick car as a result of the accident coming out of turn number 4. But a big day for Kackert and that 75 crew. Massive monumental win, and they had to fight for that one. There's not a more deserving winner of today's race than Kackert right there. Let's take a quick look at the points. Winkelson moves to the points lead over Newman by 2, and Schmidt falls from the lead to 3rd. He's out by 8. The top 5 separated by about 12 total. But it is Kackert, Guy, Lazard, Goslin, and Glick who round out the top 10. And everybody else going further down, they really need some solid runs if they want to come back. Nobody's mathematically out yet, but some guys are getting really close to being mathematically out. They're going to need some strong runs here at Kansas and going forward. Crazy race today. Congratulations to Kackert. Next race we'll be at is Kansas Speedway. I hope to see everybody once we get there.